Are you skeptical that we have been to the moon? Are you skeptical that we just went back to the moon? We did a little loop-de-loop around it. I have my biases. I didn't always think this. I want to start it off with, I am very skeptical that we originally went to the moon back in the 60s, the Apollo missions. I am curious about the Artemis missions right now that we got our astronauts back. But are you a person that is skeptical, or do you buy into it? And do you do it as a litmus test to someone's patriotism for the United States? Because I know that is thrown out there a lot. We're going to take a look at a couple of the things that went down just this past week. Our astronauts got brought back safely. It's hard for things just not to just vomit out how I feel about something immediately, but I try to exercise restraint about this, going into this, because I do have very strong opinions, but I'm very open, because I don't know. I've never been into space. I don't know what's up there. But we're also going to take a look at a clip from a little while ago Tucker Carlson did with Gentile, and he's the guy who does the Y files, or on his YouTube channel. He does a lot of good work. They got into the moon missions. Were they real? Were they not? We're going to analyze that as well. But let's start it off with a bang with one of the astronauts that actually went on the moon mission. I think this is the same guy. I'm sure everybody out there probably already knows, but listen to what he says.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome.
Rewind that. Listen to this again.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome.
You hear that? He just said this is the first time we're going to send astronauts to the moon. That's interesting. So that looks like the same guy. I'm sure everybody already knows that. Yeah, that's him. They are building up to going back to the moon, doing all these missions. That's him right there. And some good, solid guys. The black guy, I'm a white guy. Who cares? We are different colors, you know? He's a very solid guy. He seems like a very stand-up person. That and everybody keeps throwing in there, would Charlie Kirk, would he have liked a black pilot to be piloting our missions to the moon? And just trying to be like, oh, just snarky and stupid. Like, yes, black people are good at being drivers and astronauts just like white people are. It doesn't matter about the whole thing with Charlie Kirk was he cared about like this DEI thing. Do you want somebody who's been made a pilot of the plane you're going to fly based on the color of their skin? I think that was the whole point. And anybody that doesn't see that, you know, that's kind of where I feel about that. But this right here, you can see this looks like the same guy who was just saying that, and he went back up there. Tell me if I'm wrong. But that looks like this is the first time we're going back to the moon. Interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. And this is the AJ Gentile and Tucker Carlson when they discussed this. And AJ put Tucker on blast on his own podcast, made him squirm and feel a little bit weird when he asked him point blank, do you believe we went to the moon? Do you believe the Apollo missions, that was real? And you can tell Tucker wasn't ready for it. And he didn't like actually being asked that, but he gave his opinion. He gave what he believed about it. Whoa, I just lost my spot. Let me fix that. I meant to push play, but I pushed the wrong button. But these are the moments that we live for. These are the moments that we live for. That's always fun.
She starts to...
I'll be able to find it. Don't you worry. Don't anybody worry. And anybody has questions about this, put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. I'm going to back it up a little bit. Where I actually wanted it to go off of, whatever. I'm going to let it play for a second. Or we'll just pick it up right here. Or whatever. See if I can hit it right this time. Boop.
Saw psychic beings on the moon. He said they're aware of us. And I think those are the things that make the government nervous.
Did the crew of any of the Apollo missions, when they landed on the moon, did they see anything?
Officially, no. The story goes that there's a radio blackout when Neil and Buzz are up there, when they first get there. And there is a radio blackout. And the story is, well, you know, how the orbit works. Sometimes the radio signal drops, whatever. The story is they switch over to the medical channel and said, they're here, they're on the crater, and they can see us. That's what the story is. And Ingo Swann said he saw things on the moon. He saw structures, he saw beings that are there. If you go through secondary sources, every astronaut has seen strange things in space. Edgar Mitchell is on record as saying, UFOs are real, they're extraterrestrial, Roswell is real, that happened, we have craft, the government is lying. This is the sixth man to walk on the moon. This is not a kook. This is an American hero. So something's clearly going on up there. But anyway, that's the
What do
nutshell.
you know about the moon exactly?
Not
I just want to kind of just interrupt this for just a second. I feel like just getting into this kind of this kookery, this craziness of is our government always telling us the truth or not? It's tough. It's really tough because there's probably a lot of truth and lies mixed in. And you got to think about it from the government's point of view. They want to do for our interest at times, but for their own interests. They might be lying to us, but they believe it's for our own good. The more that I keep going down this, it seems like, and I don't try to weave everything back over to Candace Owens, but you're like, whoa. Candace Owens, I've heard her, she doesn't agree with the moon missions. She doesn't agree that they happened. I've listened to a lot of things that she's said, and it's almost scary to me how many things I agree with Candace Owens, her point of view, just way out there topics. There was just something I was just listening to yesterday. It wasn't her most recent podcast, but it was like probably from a week ago that she said something that was just really out there, and I was like, I didn't even know you were even thinking about that. I actually believe that same thing too. I don't agree with some of the things that she's doing, the agenda she's pushing and what the direction she's going. But in a lot of just random things, I agree with her and it's weird. And so I think she is dialed in. She's got her pulse on something in certain areas.
Very much. Not very much at all. Let me ask you, do you think we went to the moon? Do you think we landed on the moon?
I have a lot of thoughts on it that I never get into. I mean,
You squirm the way I do and asked.
I went down this once because it's my job, right? And I found it really distressing, so I just kind of give up. But I did, you never know who's telling you the truth about anything, right? But I talk to people, I sort of do trust. I'm like, no, it's not. But then I thought, whatever. I don't. There are a lot.
Right there, Tucker's shaking his head. He's saying, no. Like, he's hinting at that he doesn't agree that we went to the moon.
I spent my life looking into things and trying to figure out what's real and what's not. And I do think in midlife, you realize, having done this for so many years, that like some things you're not going to know.
Right.
And I think you can go crazy because I've pushed to the edge of it myself, trying to figure out what's right, what's true, what actually happened, what reality is. But I think it's unattainable on certain stories. This may be one of them. I will say, we accidentally taped over the original footage because we ran out of Betamax.
Yeah.
And the schematic drawings of the spacecraft are like missing and all. It's like
telemetry data is gone.
Telemetry data is gone. It's like, stop.
They can't replicate the technology.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So that would, I'll say this, if it was faked,
yep,
of course can't prove that, then it's just one more instance of the U.S. government having to backfill, a 57-year-old lie. And it's done that a lot. It certainly did it with the murder of John F. Kennedy.
So this really gets to my perspective. A lot of people that I talked to, I remember the very, very first time, I don't know if that I even somebody brought up that I started listening to somebody. I'm not saying my wife said that she didn't believe it, but she had questions about it. And I remember she said it to my dad. She that we went there, but my dad's military. My dad, he knows a lot of these things, but he's a person that he agrees with it, or from what I can glean from it. And I think a lot of people that are boomers that are in that time period, and I even other people that I've talked to that were there during it, they woke up to watch the moon missions. They agree with it, and they have that perspective that you're almost being unpatriotic if you don't, or you're kind of being silly and stupid if you don't. But I just think this day and age right now, so many people I'm a millennial, but people, Gen Z, they grew up with just in the heat of the moment, us being lied to point blank about COVID and just the government just funneling down lies to everyone so that they could exercise control over it and that people just buy into it. So there is just this thing that has been created of skeptical views from people now that it's hard to know what's real. And even going back to the 60s, the 70s, when it would have been much easier to fake things. I mean, back then, the internet wasn't out for everybody to fact check. But now it's we went even further than that. And now it's we don't know what's what. Within the last year, AI and now that these videos and pictures and everything that can be created just from AI generating something, to me, it just is very convenient right now. We're going back to the moon. After all this comes out, where this ability that the government can even more lie to us, and easier lie to us, now we're going back to the moon. Now we're doing these missions. I wanted it to be whenever those astronauts stepped off the craft, or the whatever you call it, the shuttle, when they landed yesterday, them to get out, I wanted to be usher them right into front of the cameras and live TV, all of them, all four of them, put your hand on a Bible, put them on polygraphs, whether it's they have religious convictions or they don't at all, people still are going to squirm or not, unless they're completely like psychopaths and CIA trained that they can lie on a polygraph and get through it. I just want, it's like, in this day and age, we need to know what's what. That means, that might sound extreme. I'm not trying to sound extreme, but why couldn't we do something like that? Like right away, or even now, just all of them. And it's like, there's so many people there's smart people on both sides, the people that are skeptical of it and the people that are not. And I think of like the people that are not skeptical, that are smart. Because let me just use it as these two examples. Matt Walsh and Joe Rogan, both highly intelligent individuals, but both of them come to this topic and they look at it with different lenses, completely different lenses. Matt Walsh buys in completely that we went to the moon. Joe Rogan is highly skeptical that we did. Now, this throws into the whole like situation right now that we're going back. I'm all for it. I hope that we are. I hope there is something going on that we can maybe create stations up there and go out to the far reaches of the galaxy like Elon wants to do. But it's like, can we like hammer out and iron down what is truth and what's not? And like, it needs to be like in front of like live cameras for all the world to see. I mean, forget the rest of the world. I don't care about the rest of the world. I care about the United States of America. We only need to convince ourselves. You know, Russia's got their own propaganda campaign that they're doing all the time anyways, that they're probably faking moon missions and doing all that stuff, which they did. I've seen videos that they did it themselves, that they went to the moon, or we went to the moon. It's like, it's just like there's so much the unknown that we don't even know what we don't know. And could our U.S. government just clear this up? But it's like, it wants to keep us in the dark and just arguing amongst ourselves so that we're not looking up at the people that are pulling the strings, the puppeteers that are up there.
It's just everything from the training, but in 3D and absolutely unbelievable. This is incredible.
Kathy Moonjoy.
I definitely see all of
These are our astronauts that are up there.
Copernicus, easily all in view. This is so awesome.
We look like we're smiling at you, like a little Cheshire cat.
Thank you guys.
I thought we just caught an ActiWatch sync. If I had my own, I'd sync it with you. Breaking.
Have we yet to have any astronauts do a polygraph and just talk about this? Like, are they in front of a green screen when they're doing some of these things? Were they really up there? Were they really doing these things that are up? I mean, it just became so weird. Like after years, like we said that we went to the moon, but then we couldn't go back. We lost all the technology. And just the pictures of like the spacecraft on the moon and it's being shot back up and people running around. It's like, was that done in a studio? It's like, it's hard to know what is truth at this time. It seems like and our government is happy with us being in this state of delusion and not knowing what's what, not actually being able to talk it out. Steve Wassman, or Van Elson, I believe the truth is much crazier than we can imagine. I agree with that. I think that we are just on the very much surface of anything. I just think that it seemed like when Donald Trump got into office, he would be a person that would, if the moon missions are fake, he would be the one to blow the lid. Or that we put like people that seem like they're down to earth people, real people. They aren't just politicians, that they're there and they're still not telling us the whole story. I know that things are coming out about the aliens, that's going to be slow dripped out for people to see and hear about. It just doesn't seem like it's happening quick enough. And that this mission with going up to the moon this time, it seems like there were so many videos that came out that just seemed fake. And now we don't know what's what. We can't really test a real video to a fake video because things can be just manipulated and edited and just created by AI so that it fakes us out. These deep fakes, it used to be of Mission Impossible that a deep fake was just like, oh, that could never happen. Now it happens like every day. We're like almost desensitized to it. Something I woke up to this morning, I thought it was kind of odd. I was a little pumped. I don't know if you're familiar with Wes Huff. He put out a video that almost got to question NASA and the images that came out. We're gonna look at this. It's kind of tongue in cheek funny, but he let me down because I thought he was Well, I'll just let it play first.
So I, along with everybody else, excited about all of these photos of the moon. NASA's putting all these crazy HD photos out of the moon. And listen, I don't want to be that guy. I'm the last person who wants to be that guy, but I'm looking
Nobody wants to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy either.
at some of these photos, and I just feel like we're being sold a bill of goods. I'm just looking at them, and there's just some things that don't add up. For example, let me show you this, right? So here we got the moon. Okay, that's great. Yeah, we're zooming in.
Zooming into the moon, and it's like, oh, I thought Wes Huff was going to be based. And he is.
Right here. Like, this just seems too suspicious to me. Right there.
On the moon, it says, read your Bible. Wes, you let me down, man. I thought you were going to say something, and he didn't. He didn't say what I wanted him to say. It's not that I want it to be fake. I just want to know the truth. I don't buy that we went to the moon. I really don't. And I have people that I really respect and that are knowledgeable, and they adamantly say that we did. That it's just a lack of will that we have at this time in history. But now we are going back up there. So it doesn't seem like that lack of will is there anymore. It seems like it's just convenient that AI is out now and that deepfakes can happen so much easier. And when we get into it, it's like, why would we have lost that technology for 50 years and now we suddenly got it back? Why did we it would seem like when the internet came out, iPhones became a thing, and just things became much more advanced. Why did it take up until this year that now we can suddenly do this? NASA just seems like such a secret organization, secret society. Like, you have to be initiated, almost like you are under oath with them. They probably just spank their people there and swat them with, boards or whatever, so that they, thank you, sir, may I have another mother. Thank you, sir, may I have another. I totally butchered that. But so you know what I'm saying? It's like, are they... Because once people are under oath and they're able to just say something, they think that they're not lying because they're abiding by their oath that they took. So it's like, are these astronauts that are there, is that what's going on? At least for all this time in history, why, when we're seeing these astronauts up there, why can't they take the camera that they have and put it not just in one static position and then have them floating around where, could you be on a green screen? Could you just be faking this? Could there be wires holding you up? I'm not saying that necessarily is happening. I don't know. And I don't think any of us know. But I think there's just this giggling happening from the people at the top that they're in on the joke. And I feel like a lot of people, regular people, just want to know what's the truth. And then it becomes like, I'm not being patriotic, I'm not being loving my country if I'm not thinking that the U.S. sent people to the moon. And I go to Nick Fuentes. He's a guy, he buys into the moon landings. We went to the moon. It's tough for me to really accept that. Because I think it's just people just make a choice. It's not that they're swayed one way or the other, because if you were swayed by evidence and facts and just looking at it, just being unbiased, you would think that those videos that we have and that we lost all the footage and all the videos that we do have were just taken on a wall of a projection instead of the actual videos themselves. But then we lose all the technology, we lose all the footage. We had this thing that there's this Van Allen radiation belt that nobody can go through. There's just these times that it just seems so staged and produced just for people to just accept. And even the most recent mission that when we sent them up, the Artemis 2, when it got shot up, which, I mean, when I'm watching the video, I am pumped. I feel pumped. I bet I said plumped. I feel pumped that and your adrenaline is going. We're just like, wow, that is so cool that, people can create these things to shoot people up in the air. But then you're watching the video and it's it's going up, but it's turning. It's not keep going straight up, but it's turning. And you could say it's just the rotation of the Earth. I guess that's what they're going with. But it's maybe go up a little bit further before you start turning. It just doesn't seem it doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem, and I'm just saying what I think. I would love to be put in a rocket and shot up to the moon and just see what's up there. See what's really going on. And it's like I can take like Elon Musk. I highly respect him, and he says that he's dying on that hill that we went to the moon. But I think he's not telling the truth. I don't think he's telling. I think he is just saying what he needs to say, because if he pulls the rug out from under this organization that has a lot of power and that's going to give him ability to send his rockets up and do all these things with SpaceX and all that. If he blows the lid on that, he's going to lose a lot of privilege and priority, and people like actually letting him do things, the things that he is doing. But he's saying he wants to go to Mars, wants to go, man, how can we not have a better footage? The things that don't just look like CGI. We need something. We need somebody that we can trust, that we can set in there. We need Donald Trump to get in the rocket, and we need to send him up and him to be live streaming it the whole time. Go live from the surface of the moon. That would be great. Why not? I think it was fake as well. I do as well. The most recent one, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if that was real or if that was fake, but it also seems kind of fake as well. Space is made in a Hollywood basement. That's what I think as well. I mean, not necessarily space. I don't know about that. But these missions that are going up there, I'm curious about the satellites, because we got satellites up there. I mean, our family, we use Starlink. So there's got to be something that they're sending up there. But it just, I get very curious about so many things. Like, I'm open to anything, but I'm also like, I'm not going to buy anything just because I want to go against the norm. I want to go against what we've been fed. Like, I have so many questions. I think about like the sun that's out there, because people bring this up, and people have said this, like the sun doesn't produce heat, or like, not that it doesn't produce heat, but I've always like had questions about like, if we're getting heat from the sun, why are mountains, I know this sounds crazy, but why are mountains, like if you go to the top, it gets colder as you go higher and higher? Is it because you're losing like heat from the core of our earth? Because it seems like as you would go, why? Tell me, why am I really this dumb? I have questions. What do you actually think happens? Do you think we went to the moon in the 60s and the 70s or whatever? All those missions that we kept going? I don't, it's hard to really accept that those happened. What's happening now, it just seems like it's even an easier deep fake that our government is pulling over us. Let me take it. All right, so this is them when they're coming back, and there's this
pinpoint of light shows the vehicle as it enters the period of peak heating in the Earth's atmosphere, the first tug of gravity being felt by Integrity's astronauts.
Why is it
since their launch back on April 1st?
So as they are entering back into the orbit of the Earth, so they say there's this radiation belt or this plasma that they go out. There's a blackout that happens for like 6 minutes as they're coming back in. I guess because of the ozone layer. I don't know. It just seems like it seems too convenient. What actually happened? I don't care if it was real. It was real. But I'm just to the point where I want it to be. Like I said, I want them to come out, be put on polygraphs, have their hands on the Bible, and tell us. But it's just this question of some people just think that you're not being open. You're not being honest to what you think actually happened. You're just a crazy person for asking this. And I think that the government is just pitting us against each other, where it's like, we just want the truth. What actually happened? What's actually going on?
The crew expected to experience up to 3.9 Gs in this phase of reentry. That shot was wild to see Orion there, just a few pixels big.
Blackout period.
So that's them coming down, them in the space station. It's not like everybody would have to be lying, but it would seem like so. And this is them coming down to Earth,
watching this. And to watch the initiation of the recovery of.
So you're telling me that this thing went up there and went around the moon and then came back
out of the spacecraft onto a large inflatable raft. Just a short time from now.
It's so tough because I want to believe.
We can go back.
I honestly want to believe it.
P. Murtha, where my colleague Megan Cruz is standing by to provide her situation report. Megan, can you hear us?
I'm more open. I'm very open for that to be real. And I'm not saying, like, I'm much more open that the most recent ones, that this going up and this coming down is real. Like, something's going on. But even the videos that came out that they kept showing out, like, it seemed like that it was just CGI and fake, and they're doing things like the ball. Did you see that? The ball floating in the air, and then it looks like it's on a green screen because you can see the words in it. And then it's like the people just doctor those videos. it's like, it's so hard to know what's real. And even like just searching, like, so I'm just like, if I'm like looking on here, I just go into NASA's website. NASA, Joe Rogan just did his most recent, he did another video with Bob Lazar, there's just so, I just think of the technology we have. It's like, could anybody really explain it? I think that we have been given it by aliens. We've been given it by something, some type of forces that are out there that we just have this right now. Something that is given humanity these things, these devices, this ability to create these things. Grow the fuck up. Americans are so naive. Yeah, like, are you saying that you agree with the moon landing? You don't? I don't know. I am very skeptical. And it's like, where do you do your research? You want to go to NASA, them to tell us the truth? And it's like, Joe Rogan, he's had Elon Musk on his show multiple times, and you'll find this out. He's never even gone down that road of asking Elon Musk about whether we went to the moon or not, talking about this, talking it out. And Joe, he doesn't necessarily agree with those things happened, but it's him almost doing cover for his boy, his friend, Elon Musk, and just doesn't put him on the hot seat because he knows that Elon can't say things. And when he does say it, you can tell he's not telling the whole truth. They're just kind of just putting something out there just to meet what, like, he can only say so much. And it's like, if they're lying, it seems like they feel like they're telling the truth. They're doing a greater good because they're doing it for a different purpose than just telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, what do we really know? Do we know anything? Because it just seems, the more you look into it, the more crazy you get. And that's exactly how I started the video with Tucker Carlson and AJ, them going through this and Tucker being asked about the moon landing. Did that actually happen? And Tucker's like, I went down this a long way. I spent a lot of time on it. And at the end of the day, I was just like, I don't know. He gave the impression, no, he doesn't agree with it happened, but it's just another string of lies that our government. I mean, I love America, but our government's there, and it's like, there's so many things. Are they telling us just what we need to know at this time? It's not divulging everything because it's not safe for us. NASA, never a straight answer. Exactly, 100%. 100%. NASA is all about just, you've heard probably that it was formed and started by the Nazis. The Nazis, Operation Paperclip. They came over here. Probably a Masonic organization that is there, because when you get into like these secret societies, the Illuminati, the organizations, they can lie. They have no problem with lying because they're under oath. And if you have a greater oath to something, you feel like you can say whatever you want. You can say like whatever's going to like meet that time and period and agenda that the people listening to you are willing to accept. So I just have so many questions about NASA as well, but it's like, where are you going to find the answers to it? And the people that are put there, it's like there's no one that can actually be pulled up, because once you get up there, like if I got pulled up to there, it's like, you can only go so far as much as you're going to play by the rules. And if you don't play by the rules, they're going to cut you down and throw you out. And they can take you out in an instant. Our government that's why it's like our government, it's scary, but it's so peaceful at the same time that they are always listening. We always have somebody that's listening to us. Or they have the capability of listening to us. And they probably have technology that things can get shot up to the top, whether it needs to be to actually look into what people are talking about. But they're okay with people down below. Just let them eat cake. They'll just be stupid or whatever. Ask dumb questions amongst yourselves. But I just thought, like, Donald Trump going to the White House, him being there, I thought more stuff would come out. I thought aliens would be unleashed. We would be asked about, like, even like J.D. Vance, he was asked about aliens. He just like, he's saying, I don't even have the time to do that. I don't have the time. It's like, make time. And he said he just thinks that they're demons. I don't think that they're demons. I think that they're actual different beings that are out there, but they are probably can be used for evil purposes. I go down the route with what demons are is probably different than the Orthodox position. I think that they are the Nephilim, the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim from long, long ago that have died. They don't have a soul. They're not fully human. They're almost this hybrid angelic being of human and angel. And so when they die, their soul can't go to heaven or hell. So it remains here and just wanders the earth and wants to embody things to be able to satiate that feeling in its flesh. So I don't agree with just the natural, like most people say about demons, that demons are they're the aliens. I think that it's different. There's probably so much more complexity than we even understand. But it's like when people get into these positions that they're able to see what's actually happening. What's painful about it? Which part are you? Because I'm assuming you're saying this painful. You believe it all. Do you believe that I'm okay with believing the most recent mission because we have the technology, but to believe that the former missions happened, it just seems like nobody could fact check them. There was like 3 channels, and it's people just believed whatever they're told, and sometimes it's safe to believe whatever you're told. It's like safer for everybody around you if we have this locked in, agreed upon mindset and worldview that we don't challenge the government that's above us about anything, that we just accept everything hook, line, and sinker. It's safe. We can live in this fake believe world that we've been fed, as opposed to why does it become a scary thing to allow people to ask questions about this? Because I'm not a nutso person. I'm not a crazy person. I'm not but I am a person that will willingly say what I think and tell people if I think that this is crazy in itself. I want to see what's actually going on. But you can't even trust the videos that are coming out because it looks so manufactured and created and they're just feeding this narrative. And I don't want to say the whole flat earth thing. And I'm not necessarily a flat earther. I'm not. I have went down those rabbit trails where I just want to find out what's going on. But it's like, that's something that YouTube and people, that is one of the conspiracies that the people are looked at as the most nutso, that people that believe in that. But that's something I've heard. I don't know if Candace Owens agrees with that or not. There was a couple of the different ones that are just, but you are horribly naive. Sorry. I'm naive about what? Because I'm not the one that's buying it. That's the thing. I don't believe. You look at the space shuttles of the 60s and when we're up there and that little thing that's being shot up, it looks like tinfoil. I mean, at least now it looks like legitimate rockets, and they are legitimate rockets. But it's like, are they really going out of Earth's orbit? Are they really going out there and going around the moon and doing that? It just doesn't seem plausible. It doesn't seem real. I want to be a person that I want to go up there myself. We need to put somebody we all elect. Donald Trump needs to get in a rocket and go to the moon. He needs to be in there, and he needs to be live streaming it as it's happening. Put some more windows on it than just these little ones that look like a fishbowl. And so when we show Earth, it looks like that it's just the curvature of the Earth, and there might be all that, but I question it. We have to deal with probabilities. We have to deal with percentages. Are we swayed more one way or the other? If somebody asks me about it's I can only give a percentage of it. Nobody's 100% sure on anything. On you, there's always a level of doubt that is there, and it's I totally disagree with the things that happened back in the 60s that we went to the moon. It was used as something in a time that was a massive deception was happening to bring the country together, to put forth a perspective of the United States that we are the conquerors. We are faster at getting to the moon than other nations in this race to the moon that we're doing, just to develop this level of patriotism. But now it's just that's that balance beam. It's just you got to walk this fine line of whether I'm going to be patriotic, but I'm not. Can I ask these questions? Can I get a better answer to it? And I'm not seeing it. And I just regular, it's we can't trust anything. And I think that is where we go into this AI age, that more lies are being fed to us. It's so hard to know what is real, what is actually out there, what is actually happening. Oh my God, please stop. You're talking like a child. Your thinking is so embarrassingly primitive. About what? Do you think we went to the moon or not? Do you think we actually went, do you think we actually went to the moon? Honestly, tell me the truth. Tell me what you think. What do you believe? Do you actually think we went to the moon? Do you think we have landed on the moon when the astronaut that just went up there just said, this is our first time going to the moon? The first time? Why did he think it's our first time when we've been there before, supposedly? But then, and there also, there's this Van Allen radiation belt that we can't pass through, but now we have passed through it, no problem. And then they're coming back in, and there's this 6-minute delay, this blackout as they're trying to come in and land. And it seems like they're just going up so far, or they're going up so high. But to actually go around, I just think that a lot of it is this satanic delusion that Satan wants to feed us so that we don't question what we are fed by the people in charge. That they want to put forward this godless universe so that we are all insignificant creatures. We're all cosmic accidents, that there's a life everywhere, which there might be life out in this universe. I'm not opposed to that. I think that's true. I think there actually are aliens that are out there. But it gets to the point where it's just Satan wants us to think that we're not special. He wants us to not think that we're special and that we're just one of a billion other galaxies and multiverses that are out there that are happening, so that we don't look to God. It's just this delusion that Satan wants to feed down our throats. Of course, we mucking did. I watched the entire Apollo 11 mission in 1969, and it was real. I've heard people say that, and I mean, people that I respect, but it's like you didn't have where we think we can fact check now what's happening. Like, how could you have fact checked then? It's like you would have just had to buy what they were telling you. But it just seemed like, if you've ever heard of Bart Sabrell, I'm sure a lot of people out there have. He's a person that he's done documentary series about the moon missions, that it was just this CIA agenda pushing forward and controlling just the minds of a lot of people to get everybody to link arms together so that to think that we are the superpower, that we're greater than everyone else. You know, this rush to the moon so we can defeat Russia. But I think it's awesome being an American. But it's just like, maybe they're feeding us with necessary lies, but maybe they're just lying to us at times. And it's hard to know the difference when we go through these things. I'm open to the most current missions being real, but I just need more. I need to hear more, and I don't like when Wes Huff just says, and he just makes fun of it. Maybe that shouldn't be where our attention is completely focused on, but I think people that are up at the top need to quell the thoughts that people have down here that we don't know what to believe. And it's like they almost want us in this delusion down here that we don't actually question anything, that we're just going to buy whatever they're selling. I'm not. I'm really not. Your head is full of conspiracy nonsense. There are far more important issues to worry about, not least your mentally ill president. I don't always talk about this. I really don't. I don't go into this talking about the moon all the time. I do it every now and then, and about these like conspiracies. I care more about what's the facts and what's really happening in life on Earth. But it does feel like we're being lied to in a lot of ways. And I'm open to the possibilities that are out there that aren't just the mainline mainstream things that they've indoctrinated us with. I'm open to whatever's real. I want the truth, but I think that they're doing a poor job of telling us the truth. I want to see these astronauts like talk about it and not just fib up and say, this is our first time going to the moon. Yo, Harry, but dog, you can leave anytime you want. No one's talking in your ear. Thank you. I think people are on both sides. Rational people are on both sides. I think just the regular, natural person wants to know what's going on. What is going on? What is happening? Because this is just being swept under the radar. Did anybody even until like the last few weeks even know about this moon mission? Nobody was talking about it. And then we shoot them up there in April 1st, April Fool's Day. It's like they're just laughing at us. And they're just making it a game. They're making fun of us. They're just pointing their finger and laughing at us. It just seems so fake. And it seems like that these people are bought into it. I know I'm not a person that I think that one ethnicity is greater than the other, but it just seems like this conglomeration of they just put together to meet all the criteria of a woman, a black guy, a white people, two people, other white people. It's just to meet this like this idea. And I'm not saying that they're not qualified. They're probably very qualified individuals that got put into that position. But it just seems like, okay, like, are these the ones that are going to be going back up there to actually land on the moon and like Artemis 3 or 4? It's like, are you just trying to be politically correct? So you check all the boxes, you know, and I'm not saying that, Steve, it's called freedom of speech. Yes. Okay. Exactly. 100%. the way that where we're at, I think we should just like question things, not buy everything that we're fed every day. But there's no shame in thinking and just think, because in the back of everybody's mind, we're thinking these same things. We're thinking them. And if you're not, it's like you're just buying what you're told. You're just, so I love what you all are saying. Like this is what's going on in my mind. I just don't think a lot of people are questioning it. People are making some like little short videos there, but it's like we don't even know what's real or not. When we're watching something, we don't know if that's actually the real thing that's happened or if it was just edited and then manipulated. It's hard to actually tell the truth from error anymore, and it just it fits so well that we're doing this now that we have AI. They can just much easier make it a studio thing, a production, as opposed to we really doing this. Like, why can't we have them live streaming it as they're going up? If they have the capability, why can't, when they're in the rocket, why aren't we seeing their faces and seeing them walk in and just have it on them? I guess it's never going to be enough. It's tough until we're going up there. Maybe this is the time period in our age that we're just questioning these things, and then we're actually sending people up, over and over and doing that. But it just seems it seems very fake. It seems fake. And the more that I even watch it, more that I think about it and talk about it, it seems very fake. So I hope we get down to the bottom to it. I think that a lot of people they're patriotic Americans on both sides, whether you agree with it or not. But overall, it's tough for me. It's very tough for me. I'm glad that I appreciate everybody's comments and what you all think, because I'm not settled one way or the other. I totally disagree, like almost 99% that we did not previously go to the moon. But what's happening now, it could be real. I just need much more evidence. And I think instead of spending much more money to send them up there again, we need much more clarity that is actually happening. It's actually happening. But it's like, they just want us to be in this mode of we don't know anything, that it's just safer for the masses not to know. So you just keep saying we're naive and primitive, but don't say why. Exactly. Well, I think a lot of people I think this is a reasonable position. What is actually happening? We need to know. I'm not an enthusiast of conspiracy theory. I am so much less conspiracy theorist than I used to be. I loved this. I got up for it. I was excited about it. To be honest with you, Candace Owens, she kind of put a very wet rag on that for me. She extinguished that. I thought it was always fun. Her going down all these conspiracies, she's made things that not real, as opposed to being more isolated and caring about specific situations, specific things that are happening, instead of just blanketing everything. And there's something behind every bush. Everything's a lie over here, a lie over here. And I don't think that's the case. I think there's a lot of truth and falsehood in a lot of different areas. But just these moon missions, they just do not feel real. They do not feel real at all. Well, you should, because there are a lot of stuff on the planet right now. Yeah, there's so many things that are out there. Conspiracy theory is an American creation designed to Genesis income. I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I have a sickness where I look at both points of view too much. I'm like almost madly reasonable, because I hear both points of view way too much. Way too much. Generate. Yes, I see what you're saying. It's this way that people want to be a conspiracy theorist for that sake, as opposed to really trying to get to the truth of the matter. I care about getting to the truth of the matter. I don't care about just talking nonsense and crazy stuff. I'm just going to say what I think. I don't believe everything is crazy in a conspiracy, but I think about these things, I think more should come out. More should sway us. They should do more about that. Do more PR. Do more actual PR to convince us that this is real, that we're not being lied to. I think they're just fine with us being lied to, which is like we are just the chickens that are just squawking around, and the farmers are just doing their own thing. They're coming around and then they're taking some of us and butchering us or doing whatever. And it's like they're okay with us just being stupid little chickens down here. But it's like you would think that the people that get up to the top, that they would care more about what is truth, what's going on. And they would break the seal. They would let things more slip down to us. And things are coming out about aliens, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like the aliens thing is it's becoming such why can't you just let it come out? Why can't you just release it? Why now are we getting to where we have to go? They've bought the domains, alien.gov and aliens.gov. They've purchased them, or they have them now. Why do you got to do all this research now to figure out what's going on when you got 50 years of, or 100, I don't even know, when it was like Roswell and all that. They got all this time. They can do it. They're just slow rolling everything. They slow roll everything because they consider us stupid. They think that we're stupid. And I just think that the people that are in government, the people that are kind of pulling those strings, they're just like puppets themselves. And they're doing whoever the unseen people that are even higher. And how you get that position? I don't know. I don't know how people get to that position or not. Maybe it's just these billionaire Rockefellers or whatever, that they just have massive, like, ungodly amounts of money that they're able to control everything. Like, just random things that are just out there, like the Fed, that we have this thing that's called the Fed. That's not the federal government, but it's the Fed, that they control our money. And it's just things that are just so like nonsensical and just crazy but everybody is just so used to it. And it's just normal. We just accept it. We just do our thing. We watch sports. They entertain us. They send us to the circus so that we don't ask questions. But it's like they give us enough so that we don't rise up and do something. I'm far more concerned about the fakery and the corruption of the American government right now. Yeah, because then they would have to release the technology they have. As long as we don't have it, they have the power over us all. Yes, AI just came out within the last 2 years or a few, I think 2 years, 3 years or whatever, and released to the public. Like, what do they have that they haven't released? Because they're usually always like 10 to 15 years ahead of what is actually to the public, which the technology we can use. So it's like, what is coming down the pipe? Is it pipe or pike? I don't know. I've always questioned that as well. What is coming down the pike, man? Sometimes I ramble. I think I just get in a mode where I just ramble. But I wanted to look at this, and I'm like, I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna figure those out. I'm gonna figure it out. And I get on here, like, you go to NASA's website, and what do they got? Give me more than this. It's like, how do you, like, do I need to go to a library and do my research and like do some physics, quantum physics? They got to be 200 to 300 years ahead of us. You think so? Man, it's like there's so much not so crazy stuff out there. It's like they almost want us to be lied to. They want us to. It's always they. It's always they. Like, who are they? And I want to find out who they are. And now, like, today we're like, the whole Iran war situation that's happening and figuring all that out, working through that. J.D. Vance is over there trying to make a peace deal with, I think they're in Pakistan. Him and Jared Kushner and who's the other guy? Or there are three of them. Hopefully they come back with something. It's like, are we really at war? I mean, I'm sure we are. It comes down to free energy, and that would crumble all the king's pins. It does come down to, yes. You hear so many conspiracies about, like, people get things running on, like, Nikola Tesla, got like free energy, and the car that goes on water, but it's like, but they never want it to come out for anybody else. They will never, because it's like they want to control money. They want to have it really is like, money is one thing, but ultimately it's power. Because I think they have all the money they could ever want. It's like, money's not even a real thing. It's just a figment of our imagination. Numbers going up, numbers going down. It's just like what we trust it is, the currency of it. But really what matters is, like, it's like tangible assets, what you physically have, what if the currency, the dollar just tanks. But it's like what they really have is power. And I think this is where it gets weird. This is where I know everybody goes to. It's the Jewish billionaires, people that are Jewish that are up there. They're the ones pulling the strings. And it's probably people that are not just Jewish, probably people that are of different nationalities. I think when you get to that top echelon, that they're not even caring about that. They just have everything they want. And once you have so much money, once you have so much that you couldn't need anything else, that you start turning a little bit to evil things. Because the things that titillate you aren't as, I'm going to go purchase another car. It gets kind of boring because and then it becomes a power thing. I go to, like, George Soros, like him, and like people like that, the people that have just been born into this. They're born into this top 3 or whatever, 4 people, or families or whatever that have come down and just exert so much power and control because they're the ones that have so much wealth. And that's why what I feel all about this is so different than a lot of people. I think the American dominance of spreading Americanism around the world, not for other countries to be us to take care of them necessarily. I think it's good for us to do good for other nations, but I think America needs to exert dominance over these countries and get resources from them. But everybody's so against it. Everybody's so up in arms against war and about us not going down that route. But it becomes like, for what purpose? Why? Do you think that we're going to have more money and have more wealth ourselves personally if we're not going to war in other countries? Like, because so many people are against, that is the grift that is happening right now, that everybody is on this train, this popular train of they hate the wars in the Middle East. Roswell, they got so much technology. How many years has it been? What do you imagine they could have by now? Like the whole Roswell thing, that is very like, was that like a land, like something that happened in New Mexico? That there was a spacecraft there? I'm actually going to look it up it's interesting to me. I'm going to pull something up because I'm very curious about this. So the Roswell incident, debris found by a rancher in 1947 near Roswell, New Mexico, has become the basis for UFO conspiracy theories. That's where like the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing was as well. He had property over there or somewhere in New Mexico. I kept hearing that being thrown out there. That was what it was. That was what it was. Like I was just thinking about this yesterday. It was a video that Candace Owens did a week ago, and she said, Jeffrey Epstein is alive. I don't know if you know this. Jeffrey Epstein is alive. I think he's alive. I think Jeffrey Epstein is alive. And that's not me just being crazy nutso. Yes, 2 crafts crashed. So, found in New Mexico, the United States military recovered a crashed extraterrestrial spacecraft. And like, there's different things. I remember like with AGA Gentile when he was getting in with like Joe Rogan and talking about this. There's certain areas that they have blocked off. You can't go. You can only go so far. It's like when you get to that position, you're in government. Are you just sworn to secrecy? And it kind of is. You kind of are. They're under top secret clearance. They can only put out what is the formalized narrative that the government decides that you can say. And if you step outside of that, you could get in big trouble. And it's like, once you get into that, like, why can't people get up to that position? And I know the answer. It's like almost rhetorical at this point. They get up to that position, but then they don't blow the lid. Tell us. It's like, I guess it's like you're not a person that could get to that position if you would be willing to blow the lid. And it's like they could probably sniff you out if you were. And I just think these NASA astronauts, to get into those positions, they almost got to be willing to tout the party line, to not deviate whatsoever. Palm Beach Pete equals Epstein, maybe. What does that mean? Epstein, I think he's alive. I definitely don't think he killed himself. If he did anything, he can either, I think he was killed or he's alive. And you can't say anything, they will find. I remember there was a while back, there used to be things on the internet, like when you're on YouTube, you could not say certain words. I remember that people always hinted at certain words that you could not say. I never got to what that word was. I had a guess what it was. Was it the word Mossad? Was that the word that people couldn't say, but now people say it all the time? There, like about 4 years ago, I remember that. I remember Tim Pool, they would always hint at this one thing you can't say, because if you say that word, you'll immediately be pulled down. I don't remember what it was exactly. But I don't try to be a crazy conspiracy guy. I'm not that. I'm not necessarily that at all. I don't want to be that. But I do believe a lot of conspiracies. Like when we go in, like even like the most recent, the Charlie Kirk thing, what happened there. I mean, when is it technically labeled a conspiracy or not? I think there was more going on there that's going to come out. But as of now, it probably seems like Tyler Robinson is the guy. He's probably the one that did, whether he was controlled and led to do that by our government or by something. I don't know. And I know people were just bringing up, like, why is he not trying to find out who the shooter at Butler, Pennsylvania was? Why does he care to like let it go? And really, like, either there was something going on and he was just threatened by Israel or whatever. I don't necessarily think that, but more than likely is he understands it was a huge moment that put him into the position of being president. He doesn't necessarily have to think, oh, I'm so pissed off at this person, and whoever it was that led him to that point that he could take a shot at me, he probably he's got bigger things to care about as opposed to trying to go back in to find out what exactly was going on, what exactly happened. Go look at Palm Beach Pete. He is Epstein. Just Google it quick. I will. Let's look at this. So you're saying go look up Palm Beach Pete. Oh, is this a guy that looks like Epstein? Let's see. If I can do this.
LA man Palm Beach Pete looks just like Jeffrey Epstein. He's totally leaning into the comparisons too, often taking pictures in front of jets and writing captions about specifically not being Epstein, which seems to only further encourage comparisons between the two.
He's just taking just almost like okay. Lost a camera feed. Sometimes my camera overheats. I don't know why it does that. I'm going to go to the weird odd camera see if this does it. All right. That's usually my cue to wrap it up. All right. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Steve Van Essen, Vanessy. Thank you for all your comments and everybody else that has commented in this video. Thank you for everybody that's being open-minded and willing to entertain these thoughts, because I'm willing to entertain them myself. I want to get to the truth. I want to know what is truth. I want to know what's going on. So we'll leave it at that. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend and keep your minds open. See y'all.